Cars on the grid for round 3 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Green flag waves at the back. The grid is complete. Ivan Muller on pole from Gabriele Tarquini. Wet weather track. Everybody on wet tyres as they must be. And away they go. There is no chance now to mix your tyres. Dreadful start for Ivan Muller. He's been passed by 2 Hondas and he'll have a Chevrolet in either door mirror as he comes down. He blocks the path of Djokovic, but it is Tarquini and Mikulec who are first and second, and behind, let's look for the other Citroens. They're in amongst the larders. Tom, that was a horrible getaway for Muller. He really needed to be in front if he could. Great start from Rob Huff, though. He's up to about 6th.
Yeah, it didn't look really great, but you saw he had a lot of wheel spin, and after it seemed like he nearly stalled the car. The same he had already at the green flag lap. He had already some difficulties. Although you can see he knows where the grip is, because he's really closing the gap very fast to Michelis. He is one of those French drivers, of course, who has driven here many times, so he knows exactly where the grip will be. But don't underestimate Gabriele Tarquini. Very clever, a lot of experience, so at least we will see some overtaking.
Ivan on the inside at Beausset. Now, is the grip around the long way on the outside where Mikulec is hoping it is? It seems so. Tight line, always difficult to pull off in the wet weather conditions because there's a little less grip, and the more you steer, as you'll know from your own road car, the harder it is to get the tyres to grip. So as you say, Tarquini is going to try and clear off, leave Mikulec to hold up Muller. 4th is the bright yellow highlights of Hugo Vallant. Rob Huff in 5th place, Borkovic in 6th ahead of Morbidelli and Montero. Lopez and Loeb already 11th and 12th, so Sebastian Loeb's letting Jose Maria Lopez open the doors. And Mikulec has the line. Again, in the wet weather, Mikulec can only hold his line and hope that Ivan Muller doesn't know something that he doesn't, but off the final corner, Muller's gone by on traction off the corner alone. Yeah, the traction of the Citroën is very strong. We saw that already in Marrakesh when I was driving behind the Citroëns in the free practices and the qualifying. I was very surprised how much grip these guys have. Sebastian Loeb and Lopez. Oh! Yep, Loeb inside Lopez as they come through in 7th and 8th. Lopez loses 2 or 3 spots by just drifting out a little wide. Yeah, and also Sebastian Loeb, he had a small touch in the first corner with the cone who's there on the inside. Yep. Well, we'll wait and see. Oh, Gianni Morbidelli here moving. Yeah. Very difficult to get heat in these rear tires. Looks like the tyre temperature is going away from Morbidelli already. Long time since he's raced a front-wheel drive touring car. He's been racing in the All-Stars Championship. Big, powerful touring cars, so this is going to be a little bit difficult for him. Sebastian Loeb right behind him, and Loeb is coming through the field like we expected him to do. You know, he's attacking like a real hunter at every corner, and Lopez on the inside of Montero. Again, Citroen's experience and their testing mileage is paying off. He's got the traction to put in the move. Yeah, and a really great start of Rob Huff. Yeah, the typical person where you can expect these kind of situations to be really strong. Big side Loeb, and Lopez gets a touch. Loeb there inside Morbidelli, hangs on to it, as you expect from a rally driver. Lopez and Montero touching again, and Lopez stays in 8th place. The good thing is that you saw as well as Gabriele as Lopez touching, but both had no difficulties with the cars, because we still don't know anything of the strength of these chassis. Well, we know that the Citroens have spent a day at a test track at least just driving into each other to make sure they are strong enough to resist racing contact, as Ivan Muller takes the lead from Gabriele Tarquini. Well, that took 2 laps for him to get back in front. Loeb is already in 6th, Lopez in 7th. They came from 17th and 18th on the grid, don't forget. Well, it would have been a little more difficult, perhaps, for them to have moved up quite so fast in Marrakesh, where there's less overtaking room, less room for mistakes. Rob Huff all over Hugo Vallant for 4th place. Now, 2 of the larders, Tom, failed in qualifying yesterday. Suspension failure for James Thompson and Mikhail Kovslovsky, and they weren't entirely sure what had gone wrong and whether they'd be able to race. They are both on the grid, but Huffy really making the most of his good start. He's getting very aggressive. Looks inside Valente, wants to shut the door using Valente to Sebastian Loeb. Sitchin behind the larder, looking for the inside line.
Yeah, but the problem is when two people are fighting, leave them alone, because otherwise there will be some difficulty. This is difficult for a driver. If I'm the person in Loeb at the moment, just let them go. And at the moment, you see a little distance, and Rob Huff is starting to concentrate on Loeb, which, to be honest, is useless, because Loeb will overtake him very easily.
Well, you don't want to give it up and lose too much ground. If he comes by you on a straight, at least it doesn't slow you down. If he holds you up in the corner, then Valente, it might take you the rest of the race to get close to him. And Huffy wants to be at the front end of this field, and given a golden opportunity like the start he had, he's determined to try and cling on. Muller leads now by 1.7 from Tarquini. That's how much his advantage is in this lap. There's James Thompson's girlfriend and the rest of the Larder team watching this battle. Larder holding off Loeb, but not for long. Look how much later on the brakes the Frenchman went, and he just goes right by Rob Huff. You see, he's got traffic ability, hasn't he? Loeb found the gap between Huff and Valente without hitting either of them.
It was a really nice move. He just braked a little bit more late than Rob Huff, and he overtook him on the outside. But these things are only possible when the grip is there as well, and you see how easy he overtakes.
Sebastian Loeb with the grey nose on the number 9, Sitchin battling with Hugo Valente. How quick is the Chevrolet in a straight line? Valente comes back inside Senior. Loeb on the outside will have the grip, and Huff drives around the Frenchman trying to take the place, and he does. So it's Muller and Tarquini. Michelit's still third in the Zengo Honda. Fourth is Loeb now. Fifth is Huff still. But he's now got Loeb in front and Valente behind, which is the reverse of the last lap. And Lopez in the third of the Sitchin Elysées is now up behind the Dayglow yellow and white car of Hugo Valente. And Tom, I'm really sorry that you're sitting here watching a Chevrolet doing so well when your Chevrolet should be out there. But next time in Hungary, you'll be right in the battle. But
at least my car's been fixed now at RML, so I know it will be in one piece. It looked worse than we had expected. But if I see these type of battles, you know, when you're driving yourself, you don't see what's going on the outside. And here, at least, you know, you see, this person is here faster, this person is a little bit stronger there, and you can also see how they play the game. To me, it seems like Citroën is unbelievably strong. I'm surprised how fast they overtake all the others.
Well, the last few seasons, we've seen that the Chevy Cruze in any corner could turn tighter and still maintain traction than any of its rivals. And now we're looking at exactly the same thing here with the Citroëns. They'll turn inside you, and instead of washing out wide or wheel spinning, they've got the traction. And so now, you know, the guys at RML are really in the very early stages with the Chevrolet Cruze. They are going to try and bring the battle to Citroën. And, you know, with one of those in your garage and those guys behind you, you know what they've done in the last 5 years in the championship. You've got to be hoping that they can produce the goods as the season goes on.
Well, this is the only chance you have. At least you see how much you're too slow and where they are stronger, so you also can see which points you have to concentrate on. But as I see Lopez and Loeb touching the curbs, even in the wet, while I see all the other chassis really like Bambi on ice, sliding from left to right, rear, front, it doesn't even matter. And how easy they can take the inside line. Ooh, there's a lot of work to do. Yes, there is. And they're, you know, a full year of development ahead, aren't they? Rob Huff in 5th place, still holding off Jose Maria Lopez. This is not what Citroën want, to be held up by Lada. You know, it's one thing to be held up maybe by a direct market rival like Honda, but they don't want to be behind the Ladas. But you've got to say, whatever it is that Huff has done to his car this morning, it's really working well for him. I mean, where was Huff on the grid? He was 10th, which means he was 13th in qualifying. He didn't make Q2, and here he is battling for 5th. So race pace and qualifying pace don't seem to be that different for Lada, and that's what's been the case over the last few years. Sebastian Loeb going through for 3rd place now on Norbert Michelisz. Still 10 laps to go. We could still get a Citroën 1, 2, 3. What an easy overtaking at the exit of the first corner. Yeah, it's all in the traction. The Citroëns somehow have a lot more traction, so the acceleration out of the corner they're a lot stronger than the other ones at the moment.
And again, coming up the Mistral straight, Loeb in front of Michelisz, and behind the red larder of Rob Huff. Wipers on now that he's found that they work, and Jose Maria Lopez right behind him. Lopez still stalking. And clearly Huff has got temperature in the tyres and he's got some grip. And the other thing we've always known about the Lada is that their engines built by Ricard in Manicourt, nothing giving away in a straight line. They've always been quick in a straight line. It's just been getting the chassis to work. And you know, engine power is only part of the story in a racing car.
It's yeah, because the Lada is a little bit smaller than all the other cars, so that's why it's also really really fast in the straight. I had the same problem last year when I was fighting with Thompson a few races. The Lada is fast on the straight, but just corner-wise it has some difficulties.
A few more spots of rain on the camera lens. It is still drizzling. Not many umbrellas up in the grandstands, but like British racing fans at this time of the year, the French are a hardy bunch.
Not easy for Lopez to overtake Rob Huff. At the moment he's already 2 laps on his tail. There's no gap.
Well, the fastest laps, Ivan Muller 1:44.4, Tarquini 1:45.1, Loeb 1:44.3, Huff 1:45.5. So they are going a second a lap quicker, but it's getting by that's difficult. And Lopez on the outside, and Huff's going, you can stay there all day, because that's the outside line. You've got to go a long way round to get round me. And Huff defending now. You see how much Hugo Vallant has closed in, but Lopez, exactly as Loeb did, straight up the inside in the chicane. And again, he's got the traction. Huff using the road on the outside. Full throttle onto the Mistral.
I mean, it seems like
wow,
like a quite easy overtaking. The radius of Lopez is just a lot better.
Yeah.
As you see now, he's just dancing a little bit, but he's a lot faster. So probably he will easily now fish to Michelisz.
Tarquini still in second place. Sebastian Loeb 4.6 seconds behind him. Loeb the fastest man on track at the moment, but swapping times with him is Muller, our race leader.
At the moment, Sebastian Loeb is about 8/10 faster than Gabriele Tarquini. Gabriele is also 4.5 seconds in front, so it will take him 5-6 laps to be in that battle.
So we've got 9 to go after this. And Rob Huff and Hugo Vallant, it looks as though that battle would continue all the way through. Now behind them, Gianni Morbidelli is in 8th, Thiago Montero 9th in the Castrol Honda. Tom Chilton in the all-black Royal Motorsport Chevrolet is in 10th place ahead of James Thompson and René Munich. And Munich sort of slipped backwards after the start and has got stuck behind Tomo's Lada. And there is 4th, 5th and 6th rather, and 7th place Vallant with the Dayglow yellow stripes. A long way ahead of Gianni Morbidelli and Thiago Montero, who cannot get by ex-Grand Prix driver Morbidelli. See them in the background. Montero's Castrol Honda is stuck behind the Chevrolet, and I think one of the things we maybe took away from Marrakesh was that behind the Citroëns, the other 3 manufacturers looked quite equal, and they do again here. The red Lada of Rob Huff just creeping slowly away from Hugo Vallant in his Dayglow and white Chevrolet. Ivan Muller, after winning championships with Seat and with Chevrolet in the World Touring Car Championship, now with a chance to close the gap a little on his teammates in the Citroën lineup. Gabriele Tarquini in second place, and as you said, Tom Coronel not lapping as quickly as any of the Citroëns, but that opening couple of laps when he got away from them is still, that gap is still there. But look, he comes onto the straight, and every time he looks in the mirror, Sebastian Loeb will be a closer.
Yeah, Sebastian Loeb just was about 1 second faster, so it will take him 3 laps, and he's in the battle for second.